Hi, my name is David, and I just want to talk a little bit about the Path of Beauty training that I'm a part of. The training has been unlike anything I've ever been a part of. I just finished the second module, so we started in the South. We just did the West, so I've got two more. This is my first rotation, and it's hard to put into words the training, the experience. I have uncovered so much about myself and totally blown the limits, I guess you could say, of my mind. And I tend to have a very strong mind. If you ask Chris, I'm always talking about how it's like my mind's trying to make sense of it. But I've learned that there's this whole other part of me, in addition to just opening up my heart and feeling much more comfortable in my own skin, to continue sort of forward on this journey that is as revealing about nature and all these other forces around us, as well as it is just about what's going on inside me. And so that alone has been probably the most profound thing. I feel very fortunate because my wife is doing it with me. And so we have this experience where we're each kind of growing individually and becoming more grounded, more authentic as individuals. And it's also really cool to be able to understand what the other person's going through so we can kind of support each other. And it's also helped our marriage in a lot of ways, which I never expected. I just thought this was something that we would both enjoy, add to the work that we do when we work with helping people. The actual training days are really full. I would say they're intense, but not in the intense way that, and I've been to tons of trainings, workshops where you're sitting there, there's PowerPoint, there's talking, okay, you break out and do a group thing. This isn't really like that. You're not sitting there, looking at a workbook or, following this rigid structure. That's not to say there isn't a structure, just it feels organic. And I think that really is a testament to how much work Chris and her team put into this training. It really feels like, even though, you know what, actually the word I would use is not even intense. It really just feels all encompassing. And so on every level, physical, mental, emotional, and beyond, there's stuff happening that's just really powerful and transformative. And so there are times where it's just like, okay, I need a break. And next thing you know, we have one, but it's not a break like I want to stop. It's just something where there's this process that's happening, not just in terms of learning the information, but actually embodying it, which is really cool. Oftentimes in the morning, there's some kind of instruction, but it's usually very engaging. And then it's very much just like go out in the afternoon and apply it in some way. Chris and her team do a phenomenal job of making you feel safe, making you feel like they're always there, but yet not watching you. You know, there's some people who are like, okay, they're watching what you're doing and you're like, oh, I don't want to screw up. You don't get that feeling. But there've been plenty of times where I'm like, oh, wait, I'm not sure what to do. And next thing I know, somebody from Chris's team is right there as if they could kind of sense it. And it really is just this cool process of feeling really supported. So you really put yourself out there, open your heart to whatever it is you're doing, and have a really powerful experience. I'd say my favorite parts, honestly, I mean, the whole training have been, the whole aspect of each module that I've done has been really, really incredible. But I love the ceremonies. There's something about the ceremonies, and we do some form of ceremony every night, whether it's sacred fire, whether it's receiving rites, whatever it is. There's just something about, maybe it's the culmination of what it is that we're doing or have done up until that point, but it brings in this sense of connection. It brings in this sense of engaging at that mythic level and beyond, where there's what's going on in front of us, but there's also more that's happening, and you can just feel it. And again, being a left-brained anchored person, there's just something really magical and really transformative and really connecting about engaging ceremony in a way in which that part quiets down and you have this more, I don't want to say holistic, but this whole part of you is fully engaged in the ceremony. And so I'm always like a kid, going to like a Disney World ride or whatever. It's like, oh, cool. What's the ceremony going to be tonight? Because just something that each one in and of themselves is really, really powerful, and it's hard to put into words. And so that's what I would say about the training as a whole. I just think that It's something that has profoundly changed my life, and I'm only halfway through my first rotation. And there are a lot of people in the training who've been through many rotations, and I think that just speaks to the power of the work, the power of Chris's team, the way in which Chris and her team actually do the training or trainings. And it's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience. I couldn't recommend it more.